Sam Lackney is an 18-year industry veteran. She's a hairdresser and the owner of Red Door Salon. Today, we're going to hear her story, how she got to where she is, and where she's planning on going with the Red Door Salon. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert Hughes,
And I'm Sammy Heffron.
and we are Hairdresser Strong. And today, we're talking with Sam Lackney. How you doing today, Sam?
Great. How are you guys doing?
So
Good.
good. Thank you.
So let's get started. So we met Sam. So I think one thing became for the other. Either you signed up one of your stylists for our haircutting class, but you also emailed us asking for coaching and things like that. And it turns out we actually had another common friend, I guess, Mercedes. Love Mercedes. Yeah.
That's right. So, I also want to bring up the fact that when we talked we had a little connecting call just to kind of you give you a chance to get to know us and for us to get to know you a little bit, and we really enjoyed your vibe and we're really excited to be working with you. And we know one person who we think needs to come and meet you, and a hairdresser in the area. So we're excited to have this conversation with you and send it out to the local folks, but also just for all those aspiring salon owners, for all those new talent stylists who are looking to build a career. We're really excited to hear your story, how you got to where you are, and all about Red Door Salon.
Thank you. I'm really excited to connect. Thank you. That's so exciting. Thank you. Right? That's so lovely. I'm really excited too. I also appreciate that you guys took the time to chit chat with me. I know I am not one who is ever afraid to reach out to a stranger and say, "Can you help me?" Right? Or I'm not afraid to pose a question to someone to ask for advice, because that will only keep you back when you only want to move forward. So I'm very excited too.
Awesome.
Well, and then also we believe in community, building community, and learning and growing together in community. So let's jump right in.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'm excited. I got my start as a hairstylist back in high school. I was a very truant student. I I did not enjoy school whatsoever. I was not having a good time. My head was other places. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be young, and I was failing math. So I chose the opportunity in Fairfax County, where I went to school. So locally, I've been out in and out Virginia 20 years. I saw that you could sign up for a cosmetology course and graduate high school with a license. State board would come to the class. We tested out there and everything. But in order to do so, I was already failing at math and I was behind, and I was taking a substandard high school diploma. I had to get my parents to sign off on dropping that math credit in order to replace it with a vocation.
What did they say?
They didn't know, because I just forged my dad's signature. So, I'm still really good at it. Sorry, Dad. I forged my father's signature. Mom's was a little too tricky. And I was already working jobs after school, so I could put together when you sign up for this, you have to pay for your kit and everything else. So I was able to pay for my kit in school, keep the gas money going, this and that. So my parents didn't get suspicious about why are you racking up this in gas mileage and whatnot, what have you. So I was able to graduate high school with my cosmetology degree.
Nice.
The problem is, high school cosmetology education is not great. Unfortunately, I think it could be better. And I know that a lot of schools since have started cutting it due to education appropriations and funds, which is upsetting because
Very.
grades deserve a huge chance.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I went ahead and went to Paul Mitchell, the school over in Tyson's Corner. I was already licensed, but I took their educational courses there. So that way I could get a better understanding of cutting and coloring to then be an apprentice. Once I did that, I bopped around for a while. You know how it is. I'm free. I'm young. I moved around to a few different states, this, that, and the other. And I ended up back in Virginia where I decided to go apprentice at the Red Door, which I'm sure you guys have interviewed 1 or 2 people that used to work.
I was an assistant. My first shampoo
Really?
assistant job was at Red Door and Chevy Chase.
How was it?
Well, I mean, for me, it was the fanciest, highest end space I
Very
had ever been in. So for me, I thought I was like, oh yeah, I love it. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, I was like too hot to trot. I was not in the fancy, beautiful Chevy Chase location. I
Okay.
made the mistake because you couldn't tell me nothing. I went to the Pentagon Row location. And it was, listen, it was not the best, but it wasn't the worst. I am very, very grateful for, I was there for 9 years, I think, around that time. I'm very grateful because I chose our location was departmentalized, so you could do cut and style or color. And I chose cut and style because I don't have patience. You might realize that in this interview, I don't have patience. I do for a lot of things, just not color.
Yeah, you gotta wait forever for that color to
Hope
come.
it looks like what you want it to.
Pray.
Not translating here. I just want to snip it and have it be gone, you know?
Yeah.
It took me a minute. Um, More on that later. There's a whole thing I realized, I'm also a history major. I went back to school and got a history degree. In one of my art history courses, it was a whole thing, and I was talking about this with a stylist that works with me, Eris. Um, Everyone knows Michelangelo and everyone knows Raphael, right? So Michelangelo was great in sculpture, line, human bodies, and him and Raphael were like they hated each other. Like big no, no, it's not cute, right? Crips versus Bloods. But it was because Raphael was the new hot young thing and he only worked in color. He never worked in line, never did sculpture, whereas Michelangelo only did line and sculpture. So a lot of stuff. Anyway, but it really put into perspective. Some people can think in line and some people can think in color.
Interesting.
And I have a really hard time code switching those 2.
Interesting. I have a question. You kind of mentioned something about kind of going back a little bit. You were talking about like you jumped around to salons or
Yeah.
moved around. You were a few. Sammy and I were actually just talking about how I kind of think that early in your career, that's probably not a bad thing and probably the best time to do it. Like, what are your thoughts for the student or new talent or person who's new who's like worried about this?
I have to find the perfect place.
Yeah, what do you think? What are your thoughts on?
Clearly, you already know. Um, there was a conversation the other day with someone that I'm getting ready to do an interview with, and the idea was I heard from them in like the phone call that you do to like we're cool, right? They were like, "Yeah, I feel kind of bad. I've jumped around. I'm looking for the perfect spot, and I feel like that's kind of a mark against me." A young stylist, and I don't mean age, right? A young
Yeah,
stylist should never be upset that they went through 5 or 6 different places within the first 5 years of their career. And the
absolutely.
reason why is you don't know what you want, you don't know what you're good at, you don't know who you are in this profession, in this phase of living, and you don't know who you're going to mesh well with. You
Absolutely.
you need to go out and figure out who you are in this phase of your life and your career before you can say, "This is where I wanna be."
Absolutely.
And salons are so different too. Like just because you went to one, it's like I hate all these sorts of salons. Like that is just one salon.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Okay, all right, so sorry for that detour. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Red Door.
you're at Red Door,
Red Door.
yep, and you're very grateful.
Yes, because
Yes. Why are you yes, why?
I I did a lot of growing when I was there because I was a young person. You know, you sometimes get caught up in, like, the little bit of pack mentality with people who aren't the best mentors for you. Right? And I've grown a lot since then, and I have reached out to the people who I knew I was not kind to, and I made amends with them, which takes a lot of,
Wow,
we're very receptive of it.
nice.
But I think the one thing that I will say that the Red Door taught me was retail, retention, rebooking. They were absolutely strict, or at least my location was, on the numbers and what you were providing, that if you missed 2 of those 3 or 1 of those 3 for 2 weeks, you had to go to remediation.
Oh, what was
Remediation.
mediation?
Remediation was you had to stay after hours on a Saturday. So the salon would close at 7. You had to stay after hours and do a 2-hour course on how to retention, rebooking, and retail sales. And if
Wow.
you had to be in there twice within a quarter, you were gone.
And was it like actually good training and education? No?
Oh.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Start the movie, walk out of the room.
Yes, like, sit here and not be paid, you know, like, which I now know is illegal. You can't do that. But
Yes. Exactly.
But, like, I will say they drilled those numbers into me, and they were the only good thing I would say about that was they were great at drilling those numbers in via graphs. They always showed you or gave you a handout of what was your numbers the prior month, what are you forecasted for this month, and what are your goals. So that's something that I still at the top of every month do for myself. And I've
Nice.
started doing it for the team that I'm building here. And it's not in the sense of remediation. It's I like to know where I'm at and where I need to go. You may have goals and dreams that I don't need to be privy to, but this can help you feasibly think of how you can get there. You know,
Nice.
it's something that everyone should be aware of because not for nothing, we are creatives, but we're still business people.
Are you finding that when you talk to folks, because, okay, well, the context that I'm basing my question on is when I was recruiting for PR partners back in the day before Instagram, um, I saw that face, Sammy made. She's like, oh my gosh, so old. Okay.
Dates you.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was recruiting and I was going to the schools, nobody wanted to talk about money or business or selling. Everyone wanted to just be the best hairdresser and the best craft person, and only a few people were like going at the money. That
Yeah,
was my experience, and now I feel like the vibe has changed
all about
and
the money.
folks are like, yo, I don't want to just be good at hair. Like I need to be well rounded. I really want that business education. What is your experience like working with new talent?
I feel like with the younger talent that I've worked with, they're eager to know their numbers.
They are. Okay.
I've not encountered anyone yet where it's like, "I wanna be business this." They're like,
Okay.
"What I wanna know what I need to be making per hour. What are the benchmarks that I have to make to get a raise? What are" "I want this, how do I get there?"
Okay.
They're very
Nice.
goal oriented, and I really appreciate that. I've noticed too, unlike myself and hairdressers that are more of the millennial era, they don't move the goalpost as quickly,
Mm, mm.
right?
So you notice that that when you bring on somebody who tends to be younger, they just not to stereotype or anything, but just to like kind of group people together, which I guess is stereotyping. But okay, so you're saying that you're seeing a generational difference in whether or not people are able to like kick into gear and actually make a difference in their own like numbers.
Yeah. They
Nice, and their own goals. Nice, cool.
wanna know.
Well, that's a positive, very positive.
I listen, I love talking to a young stylist, and I love talking to other stylists that have a goal for themselves, and they want to make their business and their clientele in their work life achieve it for them.
Nice.
And I
I
feel
love
like
that.
in a meta sense, a lot of us are just trying to figure out how to get through today, tomorrow, next week. I really do feel like it's a breath of fresh air when you have someone that's thinking about 2 to 3 months, a year, 5 years from now. And that's
Oh,
something in my interview
yeah.
process
They're
where
easier to work with.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
just ask in my interview process, like, when we get to the sit down and kiki, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because I wanna help you get there."
This is
Because
a perfect segue. Okay, so so you were at Red Door for 9 years, you learned all about numbers.
I was
nine
on their
years, you probably
education
built a
team.
pretty solid clientele.
Yeah.
So what is from there to
Here
opening up Rarebird? What's is there a space there, or did you go from Red Door to Rarebird?
I went to a private salon, and I was there for about 6 years,
Okay,
and I really realized that there's a balcony and a basement to a corporate place and also a private ownership.
what do you mean by that?
So corporate, the balcony is, you know your numbers. I was on their education team for the whole company for a few years before I left. I was able to have a clear and structured growth path. Nothing was ever in the lurch about if you want to move forward, here is the plan. I went to a personal salon, and while it was a great experience in the other the other spectrum of the emotional, the humanity, the connection with your client, it was not the easiest space to be in personally. And
Ha-
because there was no
Yeah.
corporate structure, a
Oh,
lot of relationships got blurry. And I will tell anyone and everyone now, if a salon owner says we're like a family, get out. Skedaddle. Back away, moonwalk out of that room, go, be gone. It is, I'm also grateful for my time there, but it really did a ringer on a lot of my mental health and wealth and how I wanted to relate to the hairdressing world, to other stylists, and now in this position, how I want to relate to staff employees because they're not beneath me and I'm not above them. I want to respect them and honor them. But at the end of the day, I don't need to know everything that goes on. I am here to grow a business and be in business with you. The baseline is it is transactional. I want to see you win. I don't need to know, and I'm not here to manage your emotions.
do you think that you think you're operating, and so just for clarity for the audience,
Yeah.
when you say private salon, for some reason I thought you meant suite, but you were talking about like not a corporate salon.
Just like
And how many people worked in that space versus when you were Red Door?
when I was at Red Door, we had the whole team for the whole like spa salon was about 70 people.
Yeah, big group, huge. Yeah, I remember the same when I worked there.
Moving parts, you know? This one,
Yeah.
it was a privately owned salon, and at the most, we had about 12 people.
Okay, yeah, significantly smaller, but big enough for clicks.
Big enough for cooks. And again, I've also chatted with a bunch of the people since then, and all of us, thank you for reaching out. You don't have to, it's that kind of thing where everyone accidentally trauma bonded, it
Yeah.
happens. It's a part of everyone's journey. Everyone has a story there. But I left that space in 2021 because COVID was a very hard time. It was not a fun time for a lot of people. But for me, in a personal way, it was a lot of reflection. I had a few family members pass away. I was by
Sorry.
myself. Thank you. And thus is life, right? We had family members pass away. I was alone for 4 months. I really had time to sit down and think, what do I want in the next 5 years of my life? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Do I like who I am now? And I realized the lifestyle I wanted was not going to be able to be built under someone else's brand, especially with a salon owner who is so tightly fisted on what they thought their stylist should be putting out and how they should even operate technique wise behind the chair.
This sounds okay. I want to jump in, and I feel like you're mid story here. But like, does this impact how you run your business?
Yes.
So are you, because like what I'm hearing you saying, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, I hear you saying that you weren't at a platform that enabled you to not only like have the support that you needed, had the culture that you needed to thrive in, but it also didn't give you the room to develop your own brand yourself within the brand. So like, is that, I mean, this is like a conversation that we're starting to have, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I
I
is
wasn't I wasn't able to have my own creative voice. I
totally.
had plenty of I was given an opportunity and I was able and willing to step through that door and then create more opportunities that also benefited the salon I was in. However, I had to move, operate, give credit to, and also make sure that all times, understandably in a very small way, that I was accrediting it to the salon that I was at.
Mhm.
But I wasn't allowed to fully be Samantha or who I am to my clients, to my colleagues, to other people in the industry. I had to make sure that I fit the brand.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's I feel like that's how salons were coming up. Like that was kind of like the traditional vibe, and it does seem like we need to we might need to reconsider that, because I'm not sure. I mean, we talked to a lot of students, and you know, it sounds like you've worked with more than one younger, like newer stylist, newer talent person. Like, it sounds like that type of environment isn't going to be able to hold this new batch of, and this new generation of hairdressers. And I'm not even saying age generation, I'm just saying like
In
the
general.
hairdresser who is embracing social media and this guy,
Yeah.
the ideas of building a brand, etc.
And I'm not talking about like young hairdressers as in like they're teenagers out of high school.
Right.
I'm saying someone who is coming into the industry or coming onto the floor.
Totally newer in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Creative voice, especially for who you are, especially in social media, as you said, how you show up, how clients show up for you, who you attract, and how you get people in. You need to have your creative voice and your creative identity. It is separate of any environment that you are working in. You know, people can come to the Hairdresser Strong salon, but they're coming to see Robert and Sammy for two very different reasons,
Right. Right.
you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like we're in an age where stylists of all ages and of all career standing points need to really sit down and figure out who is my client. We had this conversation in our mini phone call when I called you guys for advice. Like, in 2 sentences, tell me who your client is, you know, because that will tell me who you are, how you show up, and who and how needs to come see you. So I now can market you more effectively to the target market you want to see.
Right. Absolutely. So so you, it sounds like, I'm not really sure that you said it, but I feel like we're going back to your story. You were at COVID hit, and you were doing some self work, it sounded like,
Yeah.
and some self focus or something
Yeah.
maybe.
And and
Go
that's
ahead
when
and
I
pick it up from
decided.
there. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, when I realized like the lifestyle with the work-life balance even that I wanted, it wasn't gonna come working in a salon where my hours were dictated, whether I wanted them or not, or whether it worked or not, you know? A lot of salons do not give time off for R&R, sick leave, none of that. We didn't really have any of that. So even if you were going on vacation, the question was asked, when are you gonna make up those hours?
Yeah.
And I'm any
Make up for them.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you gotta, yeah, like, yeah, work 12-hour days until you cover all the hours.
Right. You know, and again, I was given plenty of opportunities there. I was able to educate for one of the bigger hair brands at the time. I was able to continue working with up and coming stylists. I was able to go off and do creative work when I wanted to, but I always had to tag and be respectful and pay back to the alma mater in that sense. So I decided that's not going to work for me anymore. I also, on a personal level, just felt so I know it sounds very rough. I was very beat down on emotionally in the sense of I don't feel I'm spinning my wheels and I'm going nowhere. So I actually did salon suite over in Alexandria at the Sola Eisenhower. And I was really lucky that I'm not afraid. As I said, I saw Michelle Wheatley on Instagram and I asked for help. Mercedes, she saw when I posted that I was leaving the salon I was at. She was like, come sit with me. I'll tell you everything. She put me in contact with great HR lawyers, everything else, like good connections to help set me up. I talked to my financial advisor, who she was wonderful. She put me in contact with a great CPA. Like, I was so grateful that I was not afraid to lean into the people that I know, and they were willing to meet me there. So I really had a good setup from jump. You know,
Nice.
When you, I guess, like looking back on, like, I guess the sweet life, did you know it was going to be what it turned out to be?
I knew I was going to be lonely because I'm a
Okay.
rapper and I love an audience. I didn't I didn't realize how isolating it is. You were so on stage. Like, I felt bad for the first 6 months being like, "I'm gonna go eat now. Is that okay? I'm just gonna check the weather real quick." And I'm like, "I have to pee." But I knew it was gonna be hard. I really in my first year, I knew I was gonna have to give myself boundaries. Boundaries are hard. They're a muscle that you build.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how quickly that I would have to grow that muscle. So in telling clients, I can't see you at 8 p.m. on a Saturday
Do
because
you feel like clients changed once you moved into a suite?
mine were always good about respecting me, but they know I'm a pushover. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've heard that.
One time, can you do this thing?
yes,
Yeah, that's yeah.
it's for me.
Like they push a little bit.
And over time, they have gotten in this place now. Like recently, I had to move a full day of clients, and everyone was like, don't worry about rescheduling me. I'll hop on my next appointment, or I'll see Eris who works with you. They have grown with me over time. And they're
Nice.
so excited to win with me,
That's amazing.
right? Like I've had my longest client for about 18 years,
Nice.
but my clients were very kind with me when I had to increase my prices very quickly being in a suite because you don't really know how much it is until you're 6 months in. Like I've had to really learn how to implement systems in a suite. And I'm grateful that I was only responsible for me while I figured out the systems.
Totally.
And I don't
So-
think a lot of people who jump into a suite are truly aware that you're actually working an extra 20 hours figuring out your systems and getting set up behind the scenes.
Yeah, and would you say an extra 20 hours a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what all of the seasoned suite folks that we talk to say. They need to spend like a half like a at least like a day or a half a day a week doing like all the admin and all the other stuff that they do. So that's a piece of advice for anybody thinking of going solo. Make sure you schedule that in. Do,
Boundaries and systems.
did you go into a suite knowing you wanted to become a salon owner, or did you just decide that once you got into a suite?
I the owner of the salon that I left at the last salon I worked at, he for years mentioned that he would love to be a silent partner with me and that I would be a great salon owner. And I
No.
was always like, get away from me. I don't want to, because you're thinking of the context and what someone's telling you. I was like, please. I was about 6 months in when I met she's a really great friend. She worked across the hall from me at the suite for 4 years. She pointed out, she goes, I think that you're going to open a salon. And I was like, what? It was in the back of my head. You know, that little kernel of thought that tickles a little bit. You're like, no. She goes, no, you have 2 Instagrams. You're looking to grow. And that's when it solidified in me. Again, I came running outside. I'm going to open a salon. I like to think personally, I'm someone who you don't know I'm having big decisions happening until I turn to you at some random point. It could be 2 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon and be like, we're going to do something. You weren't there, but we had this conversation.
So did you end up turn around and asking your former boss to be a silent partner?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no.
Are you
So how did you end up opening this salon?
yeah, like yeah.
I told my mom when the day before she left, the day before I opened my suite, I was giggling and I said, I guarantee you that in 5 years, I'm probably going to be in a bigger space looking to open a salon. And she, again, was smoking her cigarette and she goes, please don't fucking do that to me. And I called her in, what was it? April when I signed the lease here last year. And I said, hey, mom. It's been about 5 years, and she goes, Jesus Christ. It happened here because I will tell you the one thing that really just pushed me ahead of what my timeline that I gave myself to like slow down and really be a suite owner. It was a three-pronged decision. I had no windows for 4 years. So the seasonal sats were bad, and I was a little stir crazy. I had no one to talk to. The ladies at the Eisenhower location, by the way, so great at kikiing and keeping up with each other and being a team behind the scenes. Like I never had problems asking for sugar. But the rent, the rent at a suite, I will give you hard numbers. When I left, I was paying $3,200 a month.
What?
For
How big of
200
a space did you have?
215 square feet, the size of my office that we're in right now.
Is that considered a double?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anybody working with you, or you just needed the space?
I just needed the space because otherwise it was coffin size. So I rented this space, and the number that we settled on was 4,500 for 1,600 square feet.
Okay. Wow.
So if
Big
I'm all,
difference
it's a big difference. But if
per
I'm
square foot.
right, if I'm paying this much to be in a suite, it's okay to pay a little bit more to be in a salon space. Yes, you're going to have to work a little bit harder, especially while starting out and getting your numbers right and getting to the goals that you need. However, long term, is it worth the risk?
Right. Right.
And I don't
I
have
mean,
any doubt.
geez, for just a little bit more money, you're like what? You said 1,200 feet?
Yeah,
So you almost 6x'd it.
I successed it.
You 6x that, and then but only for like it sounds like maybe a 30% increase in rent, somewhere around
Yeah,
that, maybe a little less, maybe like
yeah.
20%.
And I'm in a beautiful location in Old
Wow,
Town, right?
and you have an office.
I have an office.
Wow, wow, that's
Mercedes, when I
awesome.
was getting started here, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna put my office in the basement. Da, 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 da. And she saw the space and she turned around, she looked at me, she goes, do you hate yourself?
Because you're in like a row home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the rooms. Well, you were probably thinking, like you want your stylist and your clients to have like the better, and
Little
I could see the
spot,
basement.
right? And she's like, do you hate yourself? She wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong.
So you open up the salon, and did you just for like the person who's listening to your story and is relating to it in terms of like going from salon to suite and wanting to go into a salon, um, like what like advice do you have for them specifically like money? Like can you talk a little bit about that, because I feel like so many people don't
They
like to
don't.
talk about it, and they kind of gatekeep the most valuable piece of information is like, how do
Not
I even
me.
do this financially?
Not me. I'll tell you everything. Savings.
Yeah, save it up.
Save your money. Sure. I know it doesn't cost that much to do a latte. I know the price of everything. Girl, do you need to DoorDash that latte? Probably not.
Triple the price.
Probably not. Instead, be good, drink your drip coffee, be sad. You're on to bigger, better things.
You know, what's funny is Daniel Mason Jones. I interviewed him, and he was saying that he had to like talk with people because they were door dashing lunch that they could have just gone and crossed the street to get it.
Go scuttle. Go scuttle and get your lunch. You're
Yeah,
seconds
wow.
anyway. Go scuttle and get it. Don't pay the fee.
The fees are so high.
You're stupid.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. So don't DoorDash your latte. Just go get it. That'll save you $15. Um,
For
guilty.
real.
But I was really good in that. I used a business high yield savings for the 4 years, and I took 15% of whatever I made. And even if it ate into my own paycheck at times, I always had enough to at least pay my bills. But 15% went into that high yield savings.
Nice.
So it was sometimes you have to decide, do I want, this or this? Or sometimes you do have to mix a 5 and a 7 to make a 6. However, I am making ethical choices without truly sacrificing myself for my needs to put some of that money away. Have a good credit score. Pay down your debts as much as you can while you save, right? Don't just let it sit and pile up, because when you go to the bank and you say, hey, I need a loan for this, they're more willing to help you as a whole if you have a higher savings, a decent enough credit score, and a debt ratio that's under 30%.
All right. Now that's a number, 30%. So how would you recommend, like, did the bank want to see you have like reserves, like cash reserves at like
No,
a certain amount of months or anything like that?
when I started the process of getting the finance together to do this and everything else, I was first with Bank of America, and they were horrible to work with on the whole loan situation. I was banking with them as a business for 4 years. My good friend, she was like, "Come with me." She passed away this past year. She was like, "Come with me. You're going to talk to my guy at Burke and Herbert." And we went down. I love her. She was a trip. She came in the door, didn't have an appointment, had her little dog under her arm, sat down, all this. She goes, "Hey, Joe, this is Sam. You're going to talk to her and you're going to give her a loan. She'll open an account with you." Right, Sam? That's who she was. We love Brenda, you know?
That's awesome.
And I went with a smaller local bank because Burke and Herbert, I have discovered since they're very big on growing small local businesses. So they were really kind about putting me with a loan that wasn't a crazy high interest. It's high, but 10% isn't high in the grand scheme.
Right.
They were kind with me on negotiating. They were like, if you can do this, this, and this, we can give you a higher loan rate and, expand on that loan amount that we give you if you need it. Here's also, we can do a short-term line of credit with easier terms because we understand here's what your business plan is, here's where you're going. So financing is important. Keep your credit score low. Ideally, you want to be in the mid upper 700s for a decent interest. You want to have a decent savings. You want to be able to have a business plan in order. And by business plan, you want to show them your tax numbers, your revenue, and everything else from at least 2 to 3 years prior. You want to show them where you're going, how everything's going to break down behind the chair. Like I have sheets on sheets on sheets of here's what I need to make sure these numbers are met. Here's what each chair, if it's at capacity, needs to make per hour revenue in order to get this kind of financing.
Nice.
How did you know how to make the business plan?
Um, I have a really kind financial advisor who put me in contact with one of her clients who is a small business advisor, and he was willing to sit down with me for 30 minutes to give me the ins and outs. And look, his caveat was I had to come to the table with what I thought a business plan was and X numbers filled in.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. That was good. Well, one last question. If you had to like pinpoint like the savings thing, would
Yeah.
you say like a certain amount of like reserves, like a certain amount of bill payments, or like what how would you like recommend someone think about how much cash they would want to have on hand as they're going into this process?
I understand that we live in a very tight budget time.
Yeah.
I know it's not 6 months, but I do have 3 months worth of bills in a
Okay.
savings
3
account,
months. Awesome.
and I know everyone, my parents would be like, it needs to be six. Who?
You can get, if you want it, you can get there one day by little penny, like little
By
bits
keeping
increments.
Got one for your coffee. Don't order it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep on up the practice. Are you still, yeah, you're still not door dashing your latte, right?
No, I cry while I make my drip.
Okay, so we're kind of like as we come up on our time and wrap it up here, tell us a little bit about like if someone's listening here and they're local to the DC metro area, or they're thinking about making a move, and they liked everything that they heard. Tell us a little bit of like what are you looking for in somebody who might be interested in as a stylist
And
position?
also, you need to describe the vibe of your salon because when you shared it with us, I think that will also like because some people are only listening, they'll be able to like imagine it better.
So my elevator speech is, the rare bird is grandma's house in aesthetic and everything. When most of us think of grandma, everyone is welcome. She has a spot at the kitchen table. She has a snack. She is excited to just sit down with you or whomever is there, and she is excited to see the world through your eyes. In addition, for stylists who are looking for a new salon or clients who are looking for a salon, period, grandma knows how to relate with everyone in the family for a way that is meant just for them alone. Meaning, grandma wouldn't relate to you and your sibling the same way. She knows who and how receives and gives in what language, and she is happy to meet them. So, the Rare Bird Salon is a place for I want stylists to feel as cared for as they care for their clients. I only want them to come in. My only wish for anyone that works in the Rare Bird is your biggest worry is, do you get to see your favorite today? I want to be able to handle all the hard things that you shouldn't have to worry about. I will, we have unpaid time off. We have paid time off. I am working towards being able to offer healthcare. I am able to do a 3% match on an IRA up to a certain amount. I am able to do these things because I would like to take off those stressors so you can focus on doing what brings you the most joy. If you have a professional goal that you want to reach, I'm happy to sit with you and break it down to what can we do once a quarter, once a month to put you on the path to that goal. We run community events. So every month or every other month, we do craft nights because right now, the one thing that everyone's looking for is a place to belong. So we're doing craft nights, and it's usually a $20 pay to craft because that pays for the supplies. That's not to run a profit. That's just to get people together, to get them talking. I'm getting ready to start up our foundational haircutting courses. They're $75 a class. Each class is a 2.5-hour look and learn. We're taking one of the principal 9 haircuts, and we're going to break it down into what it is, who it's for, why it works, how do we do it, and creative decisions that go into it to make it personal per the person that we're putting it on. That also includes looking at someone has this shape, but they want this haircut. How do we then translate this to fit them? Because again, we want to relate to everyone in the ways that they want to be related to. There's the golden rule that we all know. One of my clients gave me the best advice. She goes, there's also the platinum rule. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah, what is
She
that?
goes, do unto others as they would have you do unto them. You need to take yourself out of the equation completely.
What does that mean? Can you give me an example?
So, yes, I'm someone who I'm a little bit of a crybaby in my personal life. I love to cry. I love a good boo-hoo, right? And I love it when my partner, he just sits there and he awkwardly while I cry, right? But when he's in a place where he's upset and he wants to have an emotion, he doesn't want me to sit there and tell him sweet things and stroke his hair and make him feel pretty. He wants you to let him get it out, and then you go to him and say, what's next? I want to be related to in this way. If he's in strife, if he's having emotion, I'm not then going to go over and give him soft pets and kind words. I'm going to do as he would want me to do, as he would want for himself, really, and come at it in the way that fits him.
I love that. Sammy and I talk all the time about my love language. Our love languages are so different.
Like the opposite. Mine's acts of service, like
Literally
spending time
opposite.
together.
Mine, I want to be touched and I want to be told that nice things. Like pet me and tell me I'm great. And
Tell me I'm pretty.
I'm okay
I'm
now.
a sweet one. Yes. That's exactly how it is at home for us too. Do the dishes. I'll know you love me.
Yep.
And no matter how much I give Sammy a hug and tell her I love her, she won't feel the love
You
unless
just take the trash out.
yeah, just take the trash out. Go walk the dog.
I asked you to do it 0.2 ago. Why haven't you done it?
Well, the trick is not to be asked.
No.
Just to do it before I'm asked, and
If I
that
ask
I've
you-
found is the best.
Yes. I have to ask. We're already at DEF CON 2.
Yeah, it's no longer an act of service; it's an act of duty. Like,
Yeah.
do your job.
Yeah.
Oh man! Oh, this is good. It's so good. So, let's wrap it up with any words of advice for anybody, anything that you're kind of coming to mind. You want to give us some advice to anybody listening or watching, whether they're no matter depending on what level they're at. I don't know, anything that's coming to your mind that you want to sign off with.
If you want to tell someone something, tell them. If you want to ask a question of someone, ask them. You will be amazed how flattered and how willing someone is to receive something that is meant for them or answer a question that someone asked me the other day for advice. I was like, oh my God, you think I know this? That's amazing. I don't, but let me help you. We'll do it together.
Love that.
Just ask, just reach out.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story. And we look forward to more from Rare Bird and continue collaboration and working with you and within the community. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
Bye.